It just got very real for the Toronto Blue Jays, and following what has been an absolutely jaw-dropping stretch of play for this Toronto Blue Jays team, a brand new trade report has dropped from a notable insider that not only has made things very real surrounding one particular pitcher, but is a huge report that has huge implications going forward as we are now just less than a week away from the trade deadline. I'm going to break that down as well as discuss some other transactions that have already happened across the MLB and how these greatly affect the Toronto Blue Jays, as well as multiple Big Jays updates that John Schneider has provided us ahead of what's going to be a crucial stretch of play going forward. But before we get into it all, folks, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been absolutely fantastic with the support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. It truly means the world to myself over here. Folks, a lot to go over today. And wow, this has been a crazy stretch of games for this Toronto Blue Jays team. I mean, we're thinking back to what the expectations were prior to this season to where we are now, first in the American League. It is truly crazy, jaw-dropping, whatever you want to call it, but a brand new report has dropped. And we think back to a couple days ago, report from John Heyman, I believe Joel Sherman as well, revealing that the Padres are listening and are actively willing to trade Dylan Cease per John Heyman. And back when this report dropped a couple days ago, the Yankees, Mets, Cubs, and Red Sox were among the teams to check in. And bear with me here, because we have big reports around the Jays in a minute, but this is kind of big news and came out of nowhere because the Padres are still trying to win this year, but Cease is having a down year, but they're trying to move off of him for MLB-ready talent. That is the report. They want to continue to retool at this deadline, move off of Dylan Cease, of course. And Dylan Cease, when we're talking about starting pitchers and what this Blue Jays team needs, Dylan Cease would be at the top of Ross Atkins' list simply because he can start a playoff game, he can win you a playoff game, and he can win you a handful of games down the stretch here in what's going to be a crazy AL East run. But a brand new report came out late last night revealing that the Rays and the Blue Jays are among the teams expressing interest in Dylan Cease, and they have officially made calls on Cease. Now, this is very big news because it just got very real. And once this report dropped a couple days ago saying that Dylan Cease is available, there was tons of people in Jays land, Jays Nation, everybody talking about the fact that all of us, right? Talking about the fact that Dylan Cease would be perfect. He would be a great fit for this team because there wasn't that many 1A starters available. Dylan Cease becomes available, and he's probably the only 1A starter fully available, at least as of now, unless, you know, the Twins decide to trade Joe Ryan, the Rangers decide to trade Jacob DeGrom. Don't think that's going to happen, right? Dylan Cease, he is available, and you may look at his stats and say, okay, he's having, that's not great. He was a Cy Young finalist last year. He is an elite starting pitcher. His stuff, his peripherals are fantastic. He will be fine. And if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, this is a guy I believe at this point is the type of player you go all in for. And it's very simple to see why, right? You look at his stats, he still has solid peripherals, not quite as good as last year, but last year he had a 3.47 ERA. The year before, briefly 4.58, but we know how good Dylan Cease can be. He throws high fastball velocity. He throws 97 miles an hour. He is a very good starting pitcher. And I think this is a guy that, despite his stats here, you can probably get him at a discount because A, the Padres want to trade him, but B, not a discount in the sense of, there's not going to be a ton of teams bidding for him, because there will be. There will be a bunch of teams bidding for him. But at the same time, the Jays here, they have a ton of MLB-ready prospects, and that's what the Padres are seeking out, MLB-ready players. And I think he would start a playoff game. He has some of the best stuff in the league. And I truly believe, let's think about what Pete Walker and this Blue Jays, pitching staff now has done to specifically left-handed pitchers, but also just pitchers in general. They would have a field day with 29-year-old Dylan Cease. I can guarantee you that. I think that is what the real big opportunity here is for the Jays. And some rumblings and, rumors, and of course some tweets are starting to go around. Again, they know MLB-ready position players is what the Padres want. And a tweet here kind of just outlined what that could mean for a bunch of different teams, and the Jays were included in this. So this is Alan Roden / Arelvis Martinez for a guy like Dylan Cease. Obviously, the Jays do this in a heartbeat. It would require more. It would require a top 10, maybe a top 5 prospect. Probably would, absolutely. But I just think you get it done. And if it's possible to get done here, you have a starter that is 29 years old. He will start a playoff game. He will absolutely be a guy who is an absolute beast down the stretch and would truly just be an ace level player, right? We'll dive into some virtual stuff after, but an ace level player. Now, something to keep in mind, this is the last year of his deal, and he is a rental. This is why, in theory, the Padres want to move off of him. And of course, in the case of the Blue Jays, you'd be trading for a rental, and they would prefer control. But there's not that many options available, and you could argue they don't need a mid-tier starting pitcher. And I agree, my stance has shifted. I don't think they need the Mitch Kellers of the world. I don't think you need even the Sandy Alcantaras of the world. Alcantara, he's not going to be very good for the Toronto Blue Jays team because of the fact that, he'd be good, but not given the assets. You have so many solid starters. You have Manoah coming back. Lauer's look great. Scherzer seems to be past his injury troubles. You can get by with that. If you're going to make a trade, a blockbuster trade, it has to be for somebody who is absolutely going to start a playoff game for you and be a true difference maker and be an ace level player. Is Dylan Cease that? I think he can start a playoff game, despite what the ERA says. Like, he is an elite starting pitcher. And again, I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at the numbers. I mean, he had a great year last year, but like, he has ace stuff at the very least. And again, is he a lead starting pitcher this year? No, it's a 4.59 ERA. But I think that he can figure it out, and he has ace level stuff. And I think that's why the Jays are very interested. But let me know down below. You guys might disagree. You might be thinking, Nick, why are you saying, Nick, why are you saying, he's an ace when he has a 4.5 ERA? If you watch him pitch, like I watch him pitch, he was dominant for so many years. Struggling a little bit now with the Padres, but I think he's going to be just fine. And I truly believe and have faith as well in the Jays farm system to, pump out more MLB-ready prospects, I guess. But most importantly, I have faith in Pete Walker to be able to get this going here. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. It got very real very quickly, and obviously the trade deadline has gotten very real very quickly because we are now just a week or so away. I mean, we're watching this team do things that I never thought I would ever see, and that's be first in the AL for this team specifically. But a couple other things to go over. Josh Naylor went to the Mariners in the middle of the game last night. I covered it briefly. I mentioned it in my postgame video, but this means that Eugenio Suarez is absolutely available. The Diamondbacks are 1,000% selling. Reports have come out that they are, selling. So if the Jays want to go out and get somebody from there, maybe a Taylor McGill or, someone like that, maybe. But at the same time, like, do you want to get a Tyler McGill? I don't know why I said Taylor. Tyler McGill and, make a move like that, which is a mid-starting pitcher. Give me Suarez if that's going to happen. I think he probably goes to the Yankees or someone like the Cubs. Maybe even the Mariners could get him back. But it's going to be interesting there. Just wanted to throw this out there. Now let's dive into some information surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays current team. Now, let's dive into the first thing here. We have a bunch of updates to go over, and we will probably have some more. I'll have another video probably tomorrow morning on some more of these, but I just want to quickly touch on a couple things surrounding the starting pitching. So Alek Manoah here, his next step is a sim game on Saturday, mainly because Single A Dunedin is on the road, and they can control his pitch count this way. Still feels like Manoah is on track to be built all the way back up by late August. So as it pertains to the starting pitching staff, you have Alek Manoah returning very, very soon, right? Not very soon, I guess late August. But that's not bad. And that's something I think that if you can, it really depends on how Ross Atkins feels about their current staff. Like, if they think they're one injury, slipping in the ice bath like Jimmy Garcia did, away from losing out on the pennant, you're going to go out and you're going to get a mid starter. They can get an elite starter that can start games in the playoffs. That's when you go for the guys like Dylan Cease. So it's going to be interesting to see. Also, quick note here, Varsho, AAA today. So that's very good news. Should be back in Baltimore next week. Massive update. And of course, we'll, a lot of stuff is coming out now. We'll keep you up to date every step of the way. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this, folks. The Jays are number one following the loss from the Houston Astros and, of course, the Detroit Tigers yesterday. And the Yankees an off day. The Jays are number one in the American League. It feels like Cloud9. You guys are fantastic. See you later.